Hi, everyone. We got another sister here, and she's going to talk all about her career. And these are the things that we just want to know. A lot of times we start things and we're not sure how it's going to turn out. And once we get halfway through it, that question pop up. I wish I knew. I wish someone had told me. I wish I knew a little bit more. Well, these self-talk I'm having with these individual, wonderful, young, beautiful Black women, they're sharing their success and what success looked like for them and how they navigate the water of success in their career and passion, career, entrepreneur, whatever they want to call it. And I'm going to allow them to speak and call it what they want. And tonight we're going to have Sean with an E at the end, D. Johnson, board certified integrative health and oil and essential oil
oils
coach. But she's gonna give it to you. But before she was that, she was doing something else, and that's how we're gonna start it off. Go ahead, Mrs. Sean D. Johnson.
hello, and thank you. It's an honor to be on your podcast. Thank you for this invitation. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
And my name is Sean D. Johnson. I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut. I am a licensed cosmetologist of over 39 years now. And yeah, I was that kid that knew what she wanted at 10 years old. I've been doing hair since I was 10. I'll say getting paid to do hair.
Oh, wow.
From the time I was like 10 years old, babysitting and cornrow and putting beads in little girls' hair and things like that. And I always knew that that's what I wanted to do. That's my passion. And I went to a high school, a trade school that had cosmetology. I graduated high school and it was on and popping from there. I got my license and started working in a salon for about 7, 8 years, and then branched out on my own, and that the rest is history.
So tell me, what was it like, the vision you had at 10 when you finally decide to go on your own? Was it the same vision or things change?
No, I want to say I was laser focused on hair.
Mm-hmm.
I was laser focused on doing hair, learning how to do it the best I could, taking classes, traveling around the country, for different classes to make sure that I honed my skill. By the time I got, by the time I was about maybe 22, 23 years old, that's when I knew I wanted to open a salon. And so I did.
And what was that like? Because that's one of the things that I'm always curious about. I think a lot of young people start that journey because I've seen a lot of salon open and close. And yours, I've known you for 20 years and over 20 years. And you had your salon before I even met you. So obviously yours are not in that stat. So what's your secret? How did you do this?
I'm going to be completely transparent and honest. When I decided to open up a shop, and it was only because it was time to leave where I was. And I went interviewing at other places, and they were no better than where I was leaving. And so if you want a vision, you have to create your own. If you have a vision, you got to create it yourself. So I knew that much. So I had no business. I had no business training whatsoever. Only the salon owner that I worked for was the only thing that I knew, as far as business is concerned. And I knew how to pay rent. I knew how to pay bills. Mm-hmm. I knew you had to make money to do it. Mm-hmm. So I looked for a space that I could afford in one day's worth of work. Mm-hmm. Right. And I opened the salon. I found used furniture that I still use today, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
I found used furniture. My husband, my ex-husband at the time, he was very handy. So we painted that place. We, made it look like a salon and did the plumbing and hired people and all of that. I had no clue what it was going to cost. I had no clue if I was doing anything right. I just did it.
Okay.
And so fast forward about maybe 3 or 4 years in, I joined the Chamber of Commerce. No, I joined the Chamber of Commerce when I first opened, and I didn't know what that entailed, but what I used it for was the blanks that I didn't know. So the business aspect of things. So I took all their free classes on business and, what it means to hire people, what it means to, have the right insurance, licenses, policies and procedures and all of that. Cause I was determined to be the most professional salon in our city.
Wow.
I was determined because customer service is real, right?
Yes.
And I grew up, in the retail space when my first job was in the retail. And my grandmother worked for a store that was called Worth's, and their tagline was smiling service, right? And so she taught us how to be as, serving clients and serving customers, that kind of thing. And I just went by instinct really at the beginning. But then as I got older and as I started growing, I busted out the seams in that salon. I was in a 350 square foot salon. And let me tell you something, I had 7 employees and we were busting out the seam, busting out. But I knew I wanted to go bigger. I knew I wanted to go better, but I needed the knowledge. So I sought the knowledge. And Dudley University, Dudley Products, if anybody's familiar with Dudley Products was really, I am a Dudleyite, I'll call myself, and they teach you everything from advanced cutting to running your salon, the business aspect. So I was always going to North Carolina to take classes. And if they had classes locally, I would always take those classes. And their business class really helped me to really organize my business. I knew it had to be organized because you can make money all day long, but if you don't know what to do with it, if you don't know how to service clients, if you don't know how to handle difficult clients, if you don't know that you need an accountant, you don't know that you need, all of these things, the paying taxes and all of that, you can do it in your kitchen all day long and you could be the best, but you can't grow out of that kitchen if you don't know, some of these things. And I sought that out, and that, I was grateful. And I have a lot of mentors too.
Wow.
And I'm a person that will ask questions. I'm a person that still today, I'm 55 years old, been in the business for more than 30, 39, almost 40 years now. And let me tell you something, I ask questions and I learn something every day. I don't know everything, and people will put you there and you think you're the best at what you do, but there's always somebody better than you. And you can always learn from that person. I don't care who they are. I don't care how old they are. As long as they know what they're doing, I'm going to learn from that, from that person, especially when it comes to the technical aspects of doing hair, you know what I mean? Or business. If you've been in business for a while, I want to know what you're doing. What's your secret? Give me some pointers. What can I improve on? And I was always that person. I'm still that way today.
Good. One more question I want to ask you. So with this salon, because I'm loving the story already, I've listed so far Dudley University, Chamber of Commerce, mentor, 3 key things that you have said you have actually got into, utilize those services, stay where you are. So Dudley University gave you business aspect, but it also kept you current with the trend.
Oh yeah,
style. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's another thing. How do some hairdresser I've been to in the past, they only do one thing, and it's the old way. So I know you're current, but how did you keep yourself current? And did you also keep your workers current?
Hair shows, going to hair shows. We had distributors. I don't really buy products over the counter. I buy products from distributors. And when you have a distributor, the distributors have this product line, and they want to make sure that you're using the product line properly. So they train you, and they have all different types of classes to make sure that you're using these products properly. You know what I mean? So that's how I stayed on top of things, because if they had a new product, we learned how to use that new product. As far as my staff is concerned, I trained my staff and I would send them to training. you know, we all would go together. Yeah, that's how we stayed current. That's how
Yeah,
we stayed current.
that's important that you're telling. So one of the aspects I think a lot of people think, so looking back and today, did you think, I thought you made the right move, but looking back, would you have changed anything the way you end up opening your business so early, such a young age? But I mean, you're successful, so it's a weird question, but still, looking back.
Um, I don't know if I would change. I don't know if I would change anything. And the reason why I say that is because if you were to change something, it wouldn't have happened the way it did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, if I would have thought I needed a degree for business or
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and other, you know, I probably would have waited longer to
Mm-hmm.
do it, right?
Okay.
But I knew I had to leave where I was. I knew it
Mm-hmm.
was time. And I had plenty of clients. So I wasn't going to do it in the kitchen. That didn't even come to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to have a spot in our first house that we bought. My ex-husband, we separated the garage because we didn't use the garage. We separated the garage into two rooms. He was a DJ and he did uh producing and things like that, recording. And I was the stylist. So I put a chair and everything. So that was really my first salon. And
Oh.
I was still working in the salon too. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But I did hair at home, but I had it set up to do it at home. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I don't think I would have done it any different. When I'm talking to people, if you're passionate about what you do, you will make sure it happens by any means necessary. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so still after opening with no business knowledge whatsoever, I took classes at Naugatuck Valley, but I didn't take classes for a degree. I took classes for specifically what I needed: bookkeeping. That was
Okay.
one. You know what I mean? Bookkeeping, marketing. I took those classes because you can, you know, those are the things that I needed. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the theory piece of it. You know what I'm saying? And then you take it and run with it. And that's what I did. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have people that always ask me, they ask me if I'm Greek, right? Meaning if I'm in a sorority or
Yeah.
whatever, and because they think I have a degree. I don't have a degree. But if
Mm-hmm.
you take all of my advanced training and classes and certificates and things like that, I have a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
PhD of life.
Exactly. You know,
PhD of life. Sometimes that's worth
but
more than the actual PhD.
absolutely, absolutely. So I don't, you know, I'm not negating people that are out there doing it. I'm not saying don't get a degree for anything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is your question was, would I change anything? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I would. I don't think I would have. I've learned so much, you know, in my journey, and I'm still learning today in as far as business, as far as everything, you know. I think I might maybe this might be one thing is really honing in on the bookkeeping piece of business.
Okay.
Yes, I took a bookkeeping class so I can understand what my bookkeeper was doing.
You should. You should be watching your money.
Exactly. You know, so that may be the only thing. But other than that, you know, oh, managing people is not easy either.
I'm about to ask. That was the next thing I'm going to ask. How was it at a young age to have to manage people, possibly your age, might be older than you? How did you do that at that age?
That might be one of the things I would have changed a little bit. Um, Managing people is not easy whatsoever, especially when you are strong, when you know when you know what you want, put it that way, right? And you're trying to cultivate an environment and culture of being, you know, of taking care of people and knowing how to, you know what I mean? Um, and you're dealing with different personalities. And
Mhm.
I think I do pretty good navigating personalities. Took me a minute to get there though, don't get me wrong, because
Mhm.
I'm that person that will, you don't want it, This is not the place for you. Goodbye.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
and I know that that's not always the right way. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, because I wasn't. That was like the hardest thing for me, is managing people. So I started reading books on management. I
Mhm.
started reading books on that. You know what I mean? I didn't take a management class. I took more of marketing and bookkeeping classes. But even, well, with the Chamber of Commerce, they had some classes about communication
Mhm.
skills and things like that. So I did take some classes and things, like really seminar type things, on communication skills. And so
Okay.
I had to hone in on those things, because I was really good with the client, but not that great with staff. And then
Mhm.
I got better with staff because, with staff, I thought about how I was as an employee, right? And my ex-husband, I keep mentioning him because he was there during my first
He
part
was
of my
there at the
journey,
birth,
right?
at the
Yeah,
birth.
yeah. And he was part of it. One of the things that he used to say to me is, you're not gonna get people like you, because I was really good for my bosses. I was a really good employee,
Mhm.
right? And so I was looking for the, I'll say, common sense
Mhm.
in as an employee,
Mhm.
from employer and from employees. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an employer, I was looking for that. And he used to tell me all the time, you're not going to get another Sean. He used to say it all the time. And it's not that I was anything better than anybody or whatever, just some common sense things to me. If you have policies and procedures in place, you have to follow the policies and procedures,
Yes, yes, you do.
right? So that was like the hardest thing, is getting people to understand policies and procedures are there for a reason,
Okay.
but I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming myself,
Mhm.
because sometimes you let things slide. And if you let it slide too much, then they figure now you want to, now you want to enforce this policy when,
I done got
something
away
happened
with it
before.
five, six
Yeah, you
times
got
already. Now
exactly,
suddenly, when
exactly,
it's not to your liking.
exactly. So that was the hardest part.
Mhm.
That was the hardest part, is managing people. And as the years went by, I got better at it. And I decided that when you're interviewing people, just because they're good at their skill, you know what I mean, doesn't mean
Yes.
that they're good with people.
No, you definitely. Oh my God, yes. Sometimes people are meant to be alone. They're meant to
Exactly.
be in the corner just doing that particular task that they are superb at and not
That's it.
interacting with anyone.
And not interacting with anyone. And that was the hardest part. And teaching young people that you are there for the client. The client's not there for you.
Hmm.
Teaching that was like, that just would baffle me sometimes, with attitudes, because a client changed their mind about what they wanted.
Hmm.
And things like that. And it just baffled me. So that was the hardest part for me, is managing people, managing a staff.
You said a good point. You said attitude. And that's one of the things that I have noticed over the years before I came to you. When I go to a hairdresser, I want to be treated special. And I'm bringing you my business because there's 50 million hairdressers out there. And if you come at me with an attitude, I'm going to be nice that day because your hand is in my hair. But the chance of you seeing me again is probably zero because
Right.
you're not going to
People don't
mistreat
understand that
me
that
passively and think
right,
it's okay.
right.
And then you want me to tip you, then you want me to pay you, and then you want me to refer you, then you want me to keep coming back. No, that's a little too much for me. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do all of that because it doesn't work. And I think a lot of young people, even today, sometimes still have that mentality where they feel the customer owes them because they're doing
Mm-hmm.
such a great service for them. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
mutual thing. You're doing a service and they're going to pay you with money that you can actually do other things with. So it's
Right.
a give and take. I mean, they have to be respect on both sides. That's the bottom line. They have to be respect on both sides. So
Right.
with that being said, being a young lady, a young woman at that age to start a business, how did it make you feel at the young age of 20 something to start your own business? to be there and have your own shop and managing things. How did that make you feel? How did that empower you?
Um, to be honest, I didn't think about it in that way. I just thought about, I knew what I wanted, and in order for me to get what I wanted, I had to create it myself. You know what I mean? And I didn't think age made a difference because I was already married. I
Mhm,
had 2 kids. I
mhm.
had a dog and a cat, a mortgage, a car. So I had all
White
of
picket
that. A
fence.
mortgage, yeah, the white picket fence and a mortgage, all before I was 23, 24 years old.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was already old. You know what I mean? I was mature for my age, as my aunt would call me, an old soul. Um, so I didn't think about it in that way. People, when you reflect back and we have these conversations, that's when I start thinking about it. But other than that, it was just a matter of, I was out on my own at 19 years old. I had my son, I had my own apartment. Then his dad and I had our apartment. Then we bought a house at 21. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That right there, when they told us we can have a mortgage, that's when I said, I'm only 21. Y'all gonna give us a mortgage? So from there, I just didn't think about it. I just
Easy,
said,
easy peasy.
yeah, yeah, that's what it felt like. So I really didn't, I never thought about it as a point of age. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I never thought I was too young for it. I never thought that, I just never thought about it that way.
I like that
That's
mindset.
a great question too.
And I like the mindset that you had too, because you're successful in your own right. And even if you were to look at what you did X years ago, look at it today, you're still successful in your own right. And when you have that attitude where you don't stop and overconsume and overgloat because you're on a mission, and that would make you successful, you continue to move. You just say, oh, I'm here. You just
Yeah,
kept grinding and just
yeah,
kept
yeah.
grinding because you weren't anywhere close to what you wanted to accomplish. And
Nope.
that's what you call success.
And I still not close to what I wanted to accomplish.
But you've
Because
accomplished
you get
much.
my sister-in-law, she says it all the time. You're the only person I ever knew that had goals. I constantly have goals, constantly, and when I reach one, I have another one already waiting.
You
You know
should.
what I mean?
And that's the way to
So
go. If you stop having goals, then you might well just stop.
right,
Life
right,
is about goals, and you can have goals until you know, go on to the next step.
right,
So before
right.
we move on to your other career, because you are oh my God, you're a time capsule. You are a lady of many hats, many I don't even know the word to use, but you have many adventures. You're a
I like that
true,
word.
true
I like
sense of an
adventures.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, I
You
like adventures.
Yes, you like
Yeah.
that. You are entrepreneur. I'll see your face next to it. So
Mhm.
as you mature in the hairdressing field, before we leave that field, I want to ask two more questions. How did you balance marriage, children, and growth in your career?
First off, I learned balance is not what you think it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, when you think of balance, I know this is the way I used to think of balance. Balance was 50-50.
No.
50% you're doing this over here, and 50%. I was young. I didn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
But balance, I don't think I ever did. I don't think I ever was really able to balance, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
right? I always thought I wasn't there for my kids enough, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I definitely wasn't there for my husband enough. Um, I was just a go-getter. I just did what I want to do by any means necessary. Looking back, I wish I would have done things differently, like, have boundaries with my time when it came to clients and things like that. Because I had clients knocking on my door. Can I get my hair done today?
Wow,
And
boundaries. Write that down.
yeah, yeah, boundaries. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't have boundaries at all.
Mm-hmm.
uh it's going to be a snowstorm, I'm still going to work because my clients are like, listen, I'm not going to work, but I'll come get my hair done. And my ex-husband will say, you get stuck out there, I'm not coming to get you. And I've gotten stuck plenty times in a snowstorm because it was about my client.
Mm.
My clients came first. Not my It's not that my family didn't come first, it's just I just was grinding, you know what I mean? So, balance, I don't think I ever did. I don't
Mm.
think I ever did. Um, my kids and I, we have a wonderful relationship and they're grown. And I was there, right? When I asked that question of them, they said, no, Ma, you were there, this and that, whatever, whatever. But at the same time, I worked till 10, 11 o'clock at night from 8 o'clock in the morning. You
Wow.
know what I mean? And that was on a regular basis. That was like I used to work on Mondays, and it was Tuesdays was my day off. Sundays and Tuesdays were my days off. In between that, it didn't. So as I get older, and now I switched, and I say COVID happened for a reason,
Yes, it did.
for it's a yeah, right. I think, and when I say that, I don't say it to negate it. I don't say it to say that it wasn't, real, whatever. But it made all of us pause.
Yes.
And I didn't pause until then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It made all of us pause, and it made us reevaluate what life looks like. What life do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And it gave us an opportunity to really start to position ourselves in a way where we can set boundaries, right? And setting boundaries means taking care of you first, putting the mask on you first,
Mm-hmm.
So I still I started putting my mask on first, in ways that I never did before,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm proud of myself for that. And at the same time, I still feel like I grind. You know
Yes,
what I
you definitely
mean?
do. Yes, you
You know,
definitely do.
and
So,
so, but
oh,
I do have boundaries now. I do have boundaries, and I like
glad.
life as is more flexible. Like yesterday, I took a day trip for myself, and I drove to Philadelphia, and to support one of our friends, Miss
Yeah.
Pearl, to support Miss Pearl, and surprised her, and had a wonderful time. And I was back home before 10 o'clock.
Nice, nice, nice. I love that. So I'm gonna, because I know you have your hands in so many different things. So being a hairdresser, before we move on, what are things you want to tell young girls or guys out there who want to open up their own salon at a young age and to be able to keep it the longevity?
Right.
You are longevity.
Um. First off, you have to have the passion and the patience. I wouldn't open up a salon just out of school. I would work under somebody. I would like the key thing is to work under somebody for a few years, build your clientele, make sure you have a great rapport with with the owner. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because if you do, they're going to teach you. They're going to take you as a mentee. Find that mentor that's going to teach you the aspects of customer service, the aspects of honing your skill. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because when you're out of school, yeah, you might be the best in class, but when you get out in the real world, you still have a lot to go and a lot to learn. Find that person that can be a mentor under you. Who do you look up to in your space? You know what I'm saying? As a hairdresser, as a barber, who do you look up to? Volunteer at salons. If
Mm-hmm.
you're in school, volunteer at salons, like go to be an assistant. Start off as an assistant. I got out of high school. I was fortunate. I was really fortunate. But I got out of high school and I went into a salon. And the one woman, there was four of us there, but one woman, she was booked all the time. Like people waited for hours for her. Me, I didn't have no clients. So I would ask her, do you need help? And she would say yes all the time. And I would help her. And then it got to a point where a client would say, well, can you finish me? Because I don't want to wait too much. You know what I mean? And she was fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't taking her clients. I was helping her out. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So when people think about that and they go, oh, those are your clients, no, find a salon where that person will mentor you and it's a team effort for everyone to work in that salon, not you. Alicia has her clients, Sean has her clients, somebody else has their clients, and you don't help each other out. I came from a salon where we helped each other out. You know what I mean? Meaning if I wasn't booked, but someone had X amount of people waiting for them, I would help them out. Do you need me to shampoo them and and it had nothing to do with you give me half the money or whatever. Had nothing to do with that. We were team players. So that's one thing that I would say. When you come out of school, go into a salon that is going to teach you, that you're going to learn some things. See if they have training program, or, if they send you off for training or classes and things like that. Look for classes for the thing that you like to do. Me, I used to love to cut. Right? So I took all kinds of cutting classes from different places. You know what I mean? Different areas. I went to New York. I went to Baltimore. I went to DC. I went to Texas. I went to North Carolina. I went to Florida just for cutting classes. You know what I mean? North Carolina, Dudley again, they had cutting classes, master cutting classes. So I did that, and I did it with my own money.
Okay.
Go
I was gonna ask you, do you pay yourself?
What do you mean?
Owning the business, did you pay yourself up front? Did you give yourself a salary each week, or you just add everything on one basket and you just took out?
Well, at first, that's what I did until my accountant says, no, we got to do it this way. So my accountant put me on the payroll, and I just made sure that I wrote myself a check every week. You know what I mean? And sometimes sometimes there wasn't enough for my check because I had to pay everybody else.
Okay.
That's what people miss out too. They think the owner is just living the lap of luxury. Right.
And some
but
owners do that. They take all the money and don't pay no one.
Some do.
So that's why I asked that question, because I want people to hear. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
Put yourself on the payroll and pay yourself. Don't dip in the tilt continuously.
Right.
Because you lose track, you lose sight of what's actually coming out. You don't have receipts, and it doesn't fall together.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was one of the things too. So that's one. When you get out of school, find the salon or barbershop that you can learn in. That's number one, because you can't come out of school and go. I shouldn't say you can't. You could come out of school and open your own shop, but 9 times out of 10 it's not going to be successful. You know what I mean? Because you don't have that skill honed in yet. Yes. Right? And customers pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Customers really do pay attention. That's one thing. The other thing is look and hone your skill. Whatever that one thing that you really love to do, learn how to do it better. Learn how to do it better. Know what it is that you want as an employee. Right? As an employee, just because you go and get hired, you can interview that person hiring you. You know what I'm saying? Ask those questions. Do you train? Do you pay for training? How long do you think it will take for me to build a clientele? Who's responsible for me building clientele? Because when you're coming out, you don't have clientele. You might have a couple of cousins and friends, but they're not coming to the salon to pay real prices. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes too, your prices are going to be totally different than the owner's price. That's another misconception people have. They come out with this mindset, I'm the bomb, so pay me top dollar, but you have no clients and you really have no experience, But if they're going to pay you by the hour, then good. But be clear and make sure you're clear on how that's going to work. Do your homework on the place before you apply. Just because somebody say you can come work for me doesn't mean that that's the best place for you. So that would be one of the top things that I would say. And I don't care how old you are. I know a woman that got her license in her 30s and 40s. Well, she was 40 something years old. Something that she always wanted to do. She got her license. She always did hair at home and things like that. But it was hard for her to find a place. It was hard, but yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are. Those are the things that I would suggest.
Wow, I love it. That was very good insight, and I love it. And about owning a place financially, is that a difficult task? Looking back then and today market, how difficult do you think it would be for a young person to finance or rent a place? Because nowadays everything costs. What about their credit? What about, do they ask for down payment, X amount of rents? You know what I mean? The cost to renovate, or you have to keep it the way it is. Start small and go big. You know, there's so many factors involved. And you mentioned the Chamber of Commerce. Every town, I presume, have one. And are the service they're free? And do you have to join, and is there a fee?
There is an annual fee to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. But if you utilize that Chamber of Commerce to your advantage, it's worth its weight in gold.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's worth its weight in gold. As I got older, it changed for me. So I'm no longer a member. But at the beginning, I utilized it for what they had going. The Chamber of Commerce is there for businesses to thrive. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To give you, to help you build your business. The financial piece for me, I did it. I opened up cash. I opened up cash. Would I do something different? I think I would have, because now I know, right? Use somebody else's cash to open your own and put yours to the side,
Yes.
put yours to the side for a rainy day. But I did, when I opened my second salon, when I moved into a bigger space, I did do a loan. I did do a micro loan. And matter of fact, I was the micro loan business of the year that year. What year was that? In the 90s. It was in the 90s. No, 2000. Yeah, 1999. It was in 1999, believe it or not. That's how long ago it was, right? I had to think about it. And that was great because for the duration of the loan, you had a loan officer, you had, mentors, you had classes that you can take, business-wise, to help you stay on track and to stay organized.
Wow. Thank you so much. You gave so much information. I think anyone listening to this will understand what it requires to be successful. And, I say often, success looks different for everyone. And success doesn't mean you have to be a CEO, a VP, own a $50 million company. Success is the space you're in, that you are managing and you are getting the most out of it.
Absolutely.
That you desire. And you vision that's your goal, and so therefore you're successful. But to even talk about success, Missy, you adventure on to new and bigger things. So explain that. After being a hairdresser, what came into you to transition into other field, if the hairdressing field was your passion? Explain, tell us about that, and then you can explain to them what am I talking about exactly.
Okay. My passion really is helping people. As you know already, my clients are not just my clients. It's not just you make an appointment and you come get your hair done and you leave. That's not how it goes. When I had health problems, my hair was falling out. Now, we are very vain. I didn't know the indication when your hair and skin and nails, something's going on with your hair, skin, and nails, is an indication that your body is off, like something's going on, whether it's stress, whether it's disease, whatever it is. And so I had an issue and my hair was falling out, and my hair was natural at the time. So I didn't have a relaxer. There was no chemical reason that it should have fell out. When I learned what was going on with my body at the time and how to reverse it, right? And without going into details, because it's a long story, but I was severely anemic. I didn't know being severely anemic can cause hair loss. And when I learned that, now I was fascinated. Okay, now what do I do to get my hair back? Not the anemia. I didn't care about the anemia. I didn't care about the anemia. I cared about my hair, right? I need my hair to come back. What do I need to do? Doctors could not tell me, but I knew there was a way. Just instinctively, I knew there was a way. Doctors couldn't tell me. So I was on this quest to figure it out. And I did. I figured it out by this. I don't mind asking questions. I'll ask questions across the board. I know there was trichology. Trichology is the study of scalp and hair disorders. And I knew about trichology years ago because we learned about it in cosmetology school a little bit, just a little bit, not much. And then I started seeing more about it. And this was when I tell you, in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I learned about it. But I didn't start losing my hair till like 2006, 2007, something like that. And it was going, I was going up and down. So then by 2010, I ended up having, well, 2009, I should say. By 2009, it really got bad. And so I started learning. Then I went to a naturopath, not a naturopath, a nutritionist. I went to a nutritionist. And the only thing that she said to me was, you take these supplements, because I have fibroids, and that was the cause of my anemia. I had heavy periods, periods. And I just kept saying, I'm not having any more kids. Can't y'all just take this out? But you don't do that, right? You really shouldn't do it that way, right? So going through the nutritionist, and she's telling me this, and this, and I'm doing my own research and everything. And some of it coincided with some of it I was able to confirm, but some of it was contradictory. So she gave me a bunch of supplements and said, we can shrink your fibroids with these supplements, but we won't be able to shrink all of them, and this, that, and the other. And, in order for us to do, I mean, it just didn't make sense to me. So I just kept doing more research, and I was able to heal myself. Good. In the research that I found. And that was, eating right, changing the things that I was, because I also had chronic bronchial infections, chronic yeast infections, chronic sinus infections. I had all of those things. I was sick all the time. And when I realized that, healthy hair starts with a healthy body, that's when I started getting like obsessed with learning about how to take care of myself, from the inside out, because our hair grows from the inside out. You know what I mean? And when I learned that, then I took, I met a trichologist, and her and I we hit it off, and I was learning everything she was learning. And then I learned about essential oils, and I started using them. And then I just went crazy with, just obsessed with learning more and more and more about it. Then it got to a point where I was paying attention to my clients, and I'm known for growing hair. People will say, if you want your hair to grow, go to Salon, right?
Yes.
And
yes,
so then I have, all of my clients, like you said, we're about the same age, right? So I'm growing up with my clients, and we're all having the same issues around the same time. And the difference between some and myself would be, I wasn't taking any medication. I had a lot of clients that started taking medications, and they were losing their hair, and their hair was shedding and stuff like that. And I couldn't control it. But once I became my own client, I realized I need to learn more in a way to help my clients. So hence, I thought I wanted to be a dietitian, but I didn't like the clinical aspect of it, because it still wasn't definitive. It still wasn't about taking care of your body and teaching someone how to, you know what I mean? It was still just eat this, not that type of thing. And I wanted to be able to teach my clients how to take care of themselves, and in turn create a healthy hair, create healthy hair. So I became a health coach. And a health coach is a person that encourages and supports and guides someone into a healthier lifestyle. And I coupled that with learning about trichology and learning about how the body responds to healthy living and how your hair responds to that. Stress, right? We think we're not stressed. Stress is like the biggest killer. Yes, it's the biggest killer. And then you could talk about heart disease and diabetes and high blood pressure and all that. But stress is the biggest killer. And when you are so stressed out, your body will respond in a negative way. That we know for sure. So I learned that. And once I learned that, now you learn, how do you help people reduce their stress? So I learned those things, different modalities. That's where the essential oils come in too. learning all these different modalities on how to help that client, mind, body, and spirit.
Mhm.
And the side effect is they lose weight and they grow healthy hair.
Win, win, win. Win,
Win,
win, win.
win, win. Win, win,
I
win.
love it. I love it. And I like the fact that what you did was take the hair to another level. You're still a cosmetologist, you still do hair, but now you take it beyond another step that some customer might think you have the answer, but now you really have the answer, not just let me cut your hair, let's change the style,
Right.
don't do this anymore, let's not permit. No, 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 no.
Right.
What I'm talking about is internal. When you start doing this internal, you come back to me, your hair will flourish and I will be able to style it even better.
Right.
So
Right.
you went up a notch. You went up. You're successful, and your vision have expanded.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow,
Absolutely.
wow. So
Yes.
continue, because success. I'm telling you, you are the horse of success. You just keep going. So let's share. What else are we doing, Missy?
Oh my goodness gracious. So that's one thing. I'm a health coach. I'm transitioning from behind the chair to a full-time health coach. This has already been 9 years that I was doing it part-time within my business, and my hair clients are becoming my health clients. So it's really a seamless transition.
Yes.
The other thing that I'm doing in our community is created, because food is my thing, right? I love food. I love people. I love real food, produce. Okay. And I realized that we live in a food desert, and how do we eradicate that? So the next vision I had was creating a food co-op here in our city. We're the third registered in Connecticut. So that I'm doing with 7 other women, and it is amazing. We're at the ground floor, but we're making traction. And so that's one of my new passions, is helping to eradicate food scarcity in our city by way of creating a food co-op, a food grocery store co-op that is going to be owned by the community. So we're trying to bring unity back into the community by way of ownership, economic empowerment, economic culture, keeping our dollars within in the area. What else? Promoting businesses, small businesses, to, for those that have a passion for something and they don't know where to start and how to start. We're one of those catalysts for that. There's other organizations here in Waterbury that are community oriented, and they're passionate about different things. And so we've been collaborating, we participate, and we're all on that mission to bring our city back,
Wonderful,
to what it
wonderful.
used to be when we were younger. Black excellence. We grew up with Black excellence here. People wouldn't know it, because we're on the list of one of the poorest cities in the country, all of those things, right? But the way we grew up with Black excellence, and we are here to try to bring it back.
And you're going to, not trying, you're doing it. You're doing it. And I'm so excited to hear the story, because I know the story. I've been with you for a long time, but I wanted you to share this, and I wanted people to see the journey of success. And I like the fact that you really haven't changed course. You just have widened your view.
Yeah,
You
it's all in
started with
alignment.
hair, and you just keep going like this, because you went from hair to trichology to heating. And think about it, hair is hair, trichology, and what you eat to have healthy, good hair, and then you end with food.
Right.
You
Now, I'm not a trichologist.
Mhm.
I'm not a trichologist. I am a hair loss practitioner, but that's under trichology.
Yeah,
It's like the first step to trichology
but it all comes
as a
together though.
trichologist. Yes, it does. It
Your
all is in
start
alignment.
and your end blend together, because in order to have healthy hair and healthy body, you need to have healthy food. How do you get healthy food? By
Absolutely.
starting a community garden, a community farm. They all just blend back together. A
Yes.
healthy mind, body, and soul. You eat from
Yes.
the hurt
Absolutely.
and you bring it
Yep.
all together. And I love that because you have not changed your course of your journey. You just have included more people, more opportunity, and
Right.
just open your view to be bigger. And I love that. And success. Now that we have talked about your journey, how would you define success for you?
Mm. Helping others. Each one teach one, encouraging, mentoring, helping, guiding, and learning. All
And
of
how
those
that make
things.
you feel? And how
Absolutely amazing.
now see
It
that's
yeah,
success. When you
yeah,
feel good, and I have to remind people always, money doesn't define success because you could be a billionaire and the most miserable, unhappy, unhealthy, lonely person in the world. And so success is internal with some external factors.
yes,
And you are
yes,
success because the joy on your face, the joy in your voice as you speak, let me know without a doubt that you are successful. And I don't need to know if you're making money or how much money or not. Just your attitude, your body language, the joy. And that's true success, the joy that
yes,
you, the
absolutely,
energy that you push out to everyone.
absolutely, absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
This has been a wonderful interview. So let's
Thank
share with
you.
everyone how they can get in contact with you for oh my gosh, so many
For whatever,
resources. I don't know where to
for
start.
whatever, um, on my website, I have a website, ShawnDJohnson.com, and that's Sean with an E, SHAWNE, D as in dog, Johnson.com. And you can go there. I have a podcast. My podcast, I have two podcasts. One
Mhm,
is called Back to Earth, and the other one is called You're 50 Now What? Now,
mhm,
the one that's called Back to Earth, that one is for all things health and wellness,
mhm,
from I interview different people, from everything from trichology to farming, you
mhm.
know, on that podcast. And my other one is called You're 50 Now What? Because I'm over 50. And I've been having conversations with women that feel stuck and they don't know what to do. So I'm having conversations with people that are living fabulously at 50 and up. And some didn't start until they were 50. Some started a little younger, some started a little older. But that, and we're going to sprinkle a couple of men in there too.
Mhm.
So I have that podcast. What else am I doing? If you'd like to join our journey with the North End Cooperative Market is the name of it. We do not have a brick and mortar yet, but we are working on doing that. We are working on the brick and mortar. You go to northendcoop.com, northendcoop, COOP.com, and join our journey, join our email list. If you're local and you want to volunteer, join our volunteer list. Let us know when you join the journey in the messages that you'd like to volunteer. But we are really, really excited about that. I'm excited about everything that I'm doing. And you're right, they all coincide with each other, they all align with each other. And my thing is, when they say, the buzzword is walking in your purpose, what do you know what your
Yeah.
purpose is and things like that? I don't know. But for me, I am always excited when I'm helping someone, especially women, you
Yes.
know, especially women, especially young adolescent girls. I love that's like my jam, you know. I took a leap of faith just before COVID happened and
Mhm.
I closed my shop. And one thing that I miss about it is not having the shop there for my 11 and 12-year olds that love hair and love the salon, because I would have them work on Saturdays. There's so many young ladies that are adults now that came through the salon that we mentored. So yeah, those are the things, those are the things that I'm passionate about. And majority of it is helping people, helping people live a healthier lifestyle.
Wow. What a successful journey. I love it. That's a nice journey to follow. And
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen out there listening to this just shows you what success can look like and give you an idea that it doesn't require much. It just requires the seed, plant the seed, dream
Yes,
it,
and
write
water
it
it.
down, execute it, and stay focused. And stay focused.
Absolutely.
And make sure it's
Absolutely.
something you actually enjoy and love, because that is going to be the fuel that carry you. The fact
Absolutely.
that you actually enjoy it, because when you enjoy something, when you hit the rough patch, you're able to
You,
still move.
you still move. And I call it storms. You
Storms.
know, when you and being able to stand solid in the middle of the storm, in the midst of the storms. Because let me tell you so, yeah, success, I am excited about my life and things like that. But let me tell you, the storms, I've been through some storms.
Well,
So
share
don't
one or
let this,
two. You got to let people know the facts. You got to let them know the real deal.
yeah, I've been through some storms. So, and just in the last 5 years, I'll just say the last 5 years, because the person that you see today
Mhm.
has been through so much in just the last 5 years. My mother, my grandmother passed away 2 years apart to
Sorry.
the days. Okay. They were born a day apart, they died a day apart, and their funerals were a day apart.
Oh my God.
Okay. That was, you can go under a rock when things like that happen, right?
Yes.
And and then friends, I mean, it was so much death, and this is before COVID. There was so much death that happened between 2018 and 2009, 2017 and 2019 for me and my family and my friends alone. And it was just crazy. Then I took care of my grandmother, then
Mhm.
and then my husband got sick, you know what I mean, and battling with kidney failure, and all of this happened bam bam bam, right, back to back, back to back. It didn't take me out.
No, because
you
you're
know
here
it could it
standing.
it,
You're here
it
standing. I'm
yeah,
looking at
it
you.
didn't take me out. I mean, there's so many things that, and that's just the top. That was just the main things that happened, you know what I mean, that
Yes.
could have taken me out, that could have derailed me, that could have stopped me from going forward. But when you're passionate about something
Mhm.
and you believe in what you do and you believe in how you're helping people, and you believe that it's ordained by God, you know what I mean? It won't stop you.
Mhm.
I still had to go to work. I still had to, take care of clients. I still had to pay bills. I still had to pay myself. I
Mhm.
still had to get out of bed. I still had to take, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you are going through the storms, believe me, it's temporary.
Thank
It
you.
is temporary. You have to get up. Donnie McKirkland said it best. We fall down, but we get up.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
We
do.
fall
Yes,
down,
we
but we
do.
get up. And let me tell you, if it wasn't for my faith, I wouldn't be here. I know I wouldn't be here,
Mhm.
because the things that you go through can take you out. I feel sorry. I shouldn't say sorry. Sorry is not the word I want to use, but I feel compassion and
Mhm.
empathy for people that quit when one little bump, speed bump, because we have speed bumps everywhere. Sometimes they're too high to roll over, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you have to barrel through those speed bumps or
Yes.
those walls or whatever
Or
you want to call it,
potholes.
whatever. Yeah, those potholes, yeah, something, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you want to go in a corner somewhere and just not speak to anyone. And sometimes you need to do that.
Mhm.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you need to just find a quiet space. Now, if you can really start using things like, I'll get back to the essential oils, deep breathing with essential oils, therapy. Man, how many therapists I've had, okay?
Mhm.
And I use them for maintenance. Don't be ashamed to go to therapy. Don't be ashamed to get help. Like Alicia, when you got to tell the people about your call. What do you call it though, where they could just call and just
Okay.
vent?
Therapeutic conversation.
Therapeutic conversation.
Conversation.
That is genius right there. I told somebody about it. I gave
Yes.
your name to someone just Saturday
Yes.
about that. But having an outlet where
Mm-hmm.
you can release,
Yes.
release the pressure you have,
Mm-hmm.
release the pain that you may be experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying mental health
Yeah.
pain,
Unload, just unload it.
unload, yeah, brain dump, journaling is so therapeutic.
Oh,
It's
yes.
therapeutic. I've been journaling since I was
Mm-hmm.
a kid. you
Mm-hmm.
know um those things are things that keeps your head up.
Yes.
you know those If you want to raise your endorphins, put your favorite song on that you dance to
Mm-hmm. I know
and
that.
put it on repeat, right? You can
Yes.
imagine it,
Yeah,
right?
I know
I
that. I
call
got
it
a
my
couple.
Yes, I call it my hype songs. I have hype songs that I will put on, and before I do an interview, or if I got bad news and I have to go and I have a client and I don't want that client to feel that energy, I put my hype song on. I will go in
Mhm.
the bathroom and I will dance to that song, and it will take me right up out of that.
Yes, yes, yes. I am all for that. That's one thing I definitely do. I have about, I can't count a lot of favorite songs.
Right. I
All,
do too.
they're
Yes,
all very high.
upbeat. Yes, that'll make you dance. You'd be surprised on those little things that make a difference. Those
Yes.
little things that make a difference. It does not have to be philosophical.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't. But taking that time to breathe, find a quiet space, dump your brain on paper,
Mm-hmm.
dump your brain. One of the things I do too is if it's something that's really, that I really need a breakthrough for, or I really need to release something, I will write it down. I sometimes I read it after I write it, and then I take it and I put it up in flames.
Mm-hmm. It's done.
And yep, it's done. And that's my way of giving it up to God.
Yeah. Ashes to ashes. Let it go.
That's it.
That's,
That's it.
thank you so much. This has been a wonderful eye opener, uplifting interview because it's just let people know and let me know that don't take for granted the journey that you're walking. And every now and then look back, but don't keep your head back too long, but just glance back. Because if you look back, you can't go forward, but you need some time to check in your rearview mirror how far you have been
How
coming
far
from.
you've come.
Because you
Yes.
appreciate it as you continue to go up that mountain
Yes.
or through the
Absolutely.
valley or wherever you're
Oh,
going. And I like the
and
fact
it's
that
always going to
it's
be
small.
dips and ebb and flows, they call it. Peaks and valleys is always
Yes.
going to be.
And I like the fact that you have goals because, in life, success changes as our journey changes. And you can stop and take a break, a water break, a rest break, whatever it is, but you continue down this road. And it seemed like for you, as you continue to go, you have no idea where you'll go, where it will take you, but you're open.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're open to it.
Absolutely.
And that's the
You
best
just keep
part.
moving.
Yes, you're
Yeah, you just
open.
as long as you're moving forward,
Hmm.
as long as you're moving forward, there's what they
You
call
can't
it,
lose.
endless.
You can't
Right,
lose.
you can't lose. It's endless possibilities,
Hmm.
you know, endless possibilities. And every day when you wake up, just say thank you.
Yes. Thank you, definitely. Love you.
Love you
Ladies and
too.
gentlemen, this interview, play it over and over again because there's so much nuggets in there. Play it over and over again. Pause, play, rewind, start over again because there's so much information to take if you're a business owner. If you want to understand what passion look like, this will help you. If you want to understand the meaning of goals and your goals are never too big
Never.
and how
Sometimes I think I
you
dream
change.
too small.
Yes, they never just imagine you constantly evolve and age have nothing to do with any of this. You can continue to
Nope.
have goals up until you're 90, 95, 96, 102. If you're able to execute it, then you can have it. And so with that being
Absolutely.
said, thank you all. I'm a certified life coach. My website is Survivor Empower Life Coach Financial. As you can see behind me, Ackerman Self. I do quite a few things. I do speaking engagement on sexual assault, domestic violence, on love, on affirmation. So check me out. And I have so many good things. Just go to my website and you'll see it all. But this is called self-talk because you're talking about yourself, you're celebrating yourself. And this has been a wonderful celebration. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.